So for a while on this channel, I have been wanting to do a tier maker list to list off my favorite packs and my least favorite packs in The Sims 4. So we are going to go through every single pack today. Now, being a builder primarily in The Sims might kind of affect my scoring on these packs, considering I may really like a pack because of the build and buy items, but they're not really like the gameplay. So we're kind of going to go around in that kind of way of marking these packs in The Sims 4. Yes, we are indeed. So without further ado, let's get on over and rate all of the packs in The Sims 4. And so here we are on Tier Maker. I will leave a link down below to the one that I've used. I didn't make this. What I did was just change around the actual rating names. So need it, love it, good, meh, and nope. Just so it fits in with my own personal narrative. Yes, indeed. So what we're going to do is start off with all of the kit packs. Now, I am not a huge, massive fan of the kit packs. I would prefer if stuff packs were still a thing. I just found them a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more fuller with some gameplay and whatnot. We're going to start off with The Sims 4 Country Kitchen. I actually do like the kitchen that comes with this, and I do like the objects that actually come with that as well. The little bread bins and the clutter items and the actual styling of the kitchen itself, I do use quite a bit. So that's going in the good. Next up, I'm going for The Sims 4 Bust the Dust, which is the only kit pack that I've seen so far with any kind of gameplay in it. And that allows you to have kind of vacuums, hoovers, whatever you like to call them, in your game. But what I remember from that pack mostly is the fact that it was broken and it made all of my floors sparkly. They did fix that bug, but I just don't really use that pack enough to kind of give it any kind of rating apart from meh. Next up is The Sims 4 Courtyard Oasis. Now, I really love this pack, especially for building. It comes with some gorgeous tiles, some beautiful sofas and stuff, all in kind of an African, North African kind of theme. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful. So that is going in the good pile. Yes, it is. And next up was another build kit pack. And that one was called the Industrial Loft. I really, again, love this one. It came with a bit of drama with the community with the window that came with it. But what the Sims team did do was release a window that matched in with the other windows that we had. And all was forgotten. So that, my darlings, is going in the good pile as well. Because I do use a lot of the items in there quite often, especially the wardrobes and the side tables. And the next up is The Sims 4 Fashion Street. Now, I had to look really hard to remember what items actually came with this pack. And to be honest, it just wasn't for me. I don't use it often, so I'm going to be putting that one in the nope pile. So next is The Sims 4 Incheon. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry if I'm getting that right. Incheon Arrivals. And this was a very kind of Korean sort of themed fashion pack, and I use this quite a lot on my Sims. I love the style that this pack actually portrayed. I love the clothes. I use it often on many of my Sims, so I'm going to be flopping that one in the love it pile as well. Oh, sorry, the good pile. I'm not going to be putting any of the kit packs in the love it because I don't love them enough to flop it in there. Next up, we have The Sims 4 Blooming Rooms kit pack. Now, this was a kit I was kind of excited for. I love my plants. I do really enjoy some of the items in here, but I just really don't like a lot of the swatches. So I do find a lot of the plants kind of difficult to place here and there. So for that, I'm going to be popping it in the meh pile. And next up is The Sims 4 Modern Menswear. This was a pack in collaboration with the designer Stephen Cook. It's a men's creator sim pack that I just really don't use often at all. Nor do I really like a lot of the outfits that were actually in the pack. It just wasn't for me personally. Nice to see some representation for people out there, but I don't think sometimes you need to pay for representation in a game where you should be represented. So that one there, my darlings, is going in the meh pile. So the next kit is The Sims 4 Carnival Streetwear. This was kind of based loosely on Brazilian carnival attire. And I liked a few of the items in here. I liked the kind of outlandish and stuff they were. But again, for me, I just don't use it. So I'm going to be flopping that in the meh pile because it's just not for me. Next up is The Sims 4 Decor to the Max, which was a build and buy pack. that came with some rather interesting patterns and just maximalism to the max, and it just was not for me. I just don't enjoy a lot of the objects. I found them a little bit too cartoonish for my building style and preferences. So that one is going into the nope pile. The next up was another Creator Sim one, and it was called the Sims 4 Moonlight Chic. Again, I've not even used this, I don't think. I looked at a few of the objects and I've decided it's not for me either, so that is going into the nope pile too. Next, we have The Sims 4 Little Campers, which was a kind of build and buy pack. It gave the illusion that there was going to be more new gameplay with it, but there just wasn't. And it was cute. It was okay. It was nice for the kids. I'm going to put it in the meh pile. And I'm also going to put in the Throwback Fit, which was a kind of 80s inspired fitness clothing pack. Again, not for me, going in the nope pile. Now on to the two newest kit packs that have came out recently as I'm making this video. And that is The Sims 4 First Fits, which is a children's creator sim pack that just gives this kids a little bit more of an updated vibe to their clothing and stuff. And to be honest, I do kind of like it. I do, but I don't know whether to put it in good or meh. I'm going to put it in good just because of the items that came with it. They were really well executed. Now on to the final and my personal favourite kit pack in The Sims is The Sims 4 Desert Luxe. It is a build and buy pack, very heavily inspired by the desert, very modern, gorgeous. I couldn't live without some of the build and buy items in there now. So I'm going to be putting The Sims 4 Desert Luxe into Need It because I love that pack. It was so well executed and it's my favourite kit pack. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. We're going through all of the kits. Let's get on to The Sims 4 stuff packs. Now, first up for the stuff packs, we have The Sims 4 Luxury Party. And this is probably the most lacking of the stuff packs in my opinion, and the items in it are just not for me anymore. I've definitely used them a lot over the years, but I just found this pack really lacking and just not my vibe, darling. So that one is going into the meh pile. Then we had The Sims 4 Perfect Patio, which introduced hot tubs into the game and just basic cast pieces, maybe a few decorative items, concentrating obviously on outdoor furniture. It was okay. It wasn't the best. So for that is going into the meh pile as well. Now we have The Sims 4 Cool Kitchen, which was a pack that came with some kitchen appliances, a new kitchen. I think it came with an ice cream maker as well. The kitchen I never use anymore. I did use it a lot when The Sims first came out because that was the newest kitchen and everybody wanted to use it. But for me, it just doesn't hold up well now, kind of 8 years later. So for that, The Sims 4 Cool Kitchen is going into the meh pile too. Next, we have The Sims 4 Spooky Stuff Pack, which came with a few items. It allowed your Sims to carve pumpkins and decorate here and there a little bit. There was not many items in this pack for Halloween. And to be honest with you, I just don't use a lot of it and it just doesn't fit in with my vibes very well. So we're going to be flopping that into the meh pile as well. Next up, we have The Sims 4 Movie Hangout Stuff. Now, I really liked this pack. I liked the bohemian vibes it gave, and I also loved the gameplay that came with it, allowing your Sims to watch movies on some screens outside or in their own cinema rooms, popcorn. It was just a good vibe and I really, really liked that pack. So that is going into the good pile. Now we have The Sims 4 Romantic Garden Stuff, which was a build and buy pack, really. It had a little bit of gameplay with a wishing well and stuff in, and the items were kind of inspired by Victorian garden kind of furniture and stuff. For me, a lot of the swatches on this put me off it quite a lot because they were very bright pink and just a little bit garish. So for that, I'm going to be putting that into the meh pile. Next, we have The Sims 4 Kids Room Stuff. This was a pack that came with lots of build and buy, create a sim for the kids as well, and also a bit of gameplay with the puppet show and the Void Critter Machine, which is the Sims version of Pokemon. All in all, it was a good pack, and I still use a lot of it to this day, so I am going to be putting that one up into the good pile. Next, we have The Sims 4 Backyard Stuff, which was a stuff pack that concentrated on the backyard. It had kind of like a slip and slide that the Sims can use, and it had various other Create a Sim and build and buy pieces, including a little bird feeder that you can kind of interact with the birds. I thought it was really cute. I tend to use it quite often in my builds to this day, so for that I'm going to be putting it into the good pile. Next, we have the Sims 4 Vintage Glamour Stuff, which was a stuff pack that brought butlers into your Sims worlds. It also brought in a lot of Art Deco kind of build and buy pieces and various other Create a Sim kind of nicer looking bits as well. So I love this pack, I really do. I still use quite a lot of the objects today. So for this one, I am actually going to be putting it up into the love it pile. Next, we have the Sims 4 Bowling Night Stuff Pack. Again, it brought in bowling into the Sims games. And it also came with this like 1950s kind of kitschy sort of look to it. For me, I don't use it very often. A lot of the objects tried to go for that mid-century kind of vibe, and they just overcompensated by making it a bit too cartoonish for my liking. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting it into the meh pile. Next, we have the Sims 4 fitness stuff, which is exactly how it sounds. It comes with some Create a Sim pieces for your Sims to work out in, plus some workout pieces, including a new kind of climbing wall. I didn't really find any kind of enjoyment from this pack, and I didn't really like the styling of the Create a Sim either, so for that, I'm going to be putting it into the nope pile. Next up, we have the Sims 4 Toddler stuff, which again is just more Create a Sim, but there was also a lot of drama in the community because of that infamous ball pit that looked like an absolute toe. So for that, it's going into the meh pile. Next up, we have the Sims 4 Laundry Day, which was a community voted stuff pack, which brought in laundry into the game. Washing machines, really good build and buy items. Probably to this day still one of my favorite stuff packs for that reason. So for that, I think what I'm going to do is probably put that up into the love it pile. Now, obviously, if you've been on my channel for a few years, you will know my utter dislike to the Sims 4 First Pet stuff. I just thought that was a cheap way of EA of grabbing some extra money, as did a lot of the community. And plus, I just find the pack boring and just not well executed. So that is going into a big fat nope pile, darlings. Now, next up is a surprising one, the Sims 4 Moschino pack. We were all a little bit like, what is this pack? I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy this or not. But what this pack did was brought in a new career, which allowed your Sims to be a freelance fashion photographer, which I really loved. And the build and buy objects from this pack were great. Really, really great. I still use it often to this day. So for that reason, I'm putting the Moschino pack into the love it pile. Now, next up, we have my favorite stuff pack, the Sims 4 Tiny Living, which it is exactly how it sounds. It allows your Sims to have these kind of tiny home residentials. It came with some lovely build and buy furniture that kind of fitted into smaller spaces, including the Murphy beds and whatnot. I just love this pack. I love building tiny homes. So this pack is an absolute must for me. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting the Sims 4 Tiny Living into the need it pile. Now we have the Sims 4 Nifty Knitting, which again is exactly how it sounds. I just really didn't like this pack. I'm not a knitter or anything myself personally. It's nice to see the Sims doing it. I just didn't like the over cutesy cartoony style that this pack brought. So for me, it's going to go into the nope pile, I'm afraid. And finally, for the stuff packs, we have the Sims 4 Paranormal. I really loved this pack. I loved the build and buy items that came with it. I loved that there was a bit of lore in this stuff pack as well. And I just liked the gameplay. I found it quite funny. I liked seeing some of the new animations with the Sims being scared and stuff. So for that reason, the Sims 4 Paranormal is going into the love it pile. The first Sims 4 game pack to be released was the Sims 4 Outdoor Retreat, which introduced us to a new world of Granite Falls. It allowed your Sims to go out and camp around campfires and just live that life of being in the wilderness. And for me, I really, really enjoyed this. I really did. A lot of the build and buy items have not really lived up to the style that I like now. But all in all, this pack was good as far as I was concerned. So that is exactly where we are going to be putting Outdoor Retreat into the good pile. Now, next up is The Sims 4 Spa Day. Now, again, the clue is in the name. It allowed your Sims to go to the spa. It allowed you to build your own spas. It introduced yoga into the game. It allowed your Sims to have massages. And it came with some really good build and buy items as well. And I probably couldn't live without that one now, to be honest with you. Just for the reasons of yoga being in the game. I'm a yogi myself. I do love my yoga. So I'm going to be putting The Sims 4 Spa Day into the love it pile. Next, we have The Sims 4 Dine Out. Now, I was very excited for this pack. I really was. I loved the fact of your Sims being able to open their own restaurants, being able to build your own restaurants, and just have that gameplay in The Sims where your Sims could go out for dinner and whatnot. But that being said, the pack for me has never ever worked properly. Never worked properly. It's always been broken up to this day. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting Dine Out into the meh pile. It's only being bumped up from Nope because of the build and buy items. I do love some of the build and buy items with that, but I refuse to put it up any higher for how broken that pack still is after all these years. The Sims team, sort it out. Thank you. And next we have The Sims 4 Vampires, which introduced into The Sims 4 an occult sim for the very first time. And I was very excited for this pack, and it did not disappoint. It still remains this day one of my favourite game packs in The Sims 4 without a doubt. And I loved the Victorian build and buy items that came with it. I loved the creator sim, and I just loved the overall tier system that the vampires had to like level up and stuff. Again, just draws me into gameplay a little bit more and keeps me playing the game a little bit longer. So for that reason, I'm putting The Sims 4 Vampires into Loves It. And next up, we have my favorite game pack in The Sims 4, and that is The Sims 4 Parenthood. I just thought this pack was brilliantly executed in the fact it just brought a lot more depth into the gameplay, especially in a family dynamic. I really loved that you were like developing parent skills, and the decisions that you make kind of affect your Sims, and you see the teens kind of like argue with each other. There's loads of family activities, and the build and buy is absolutely great with this pack, and I still use it to this day. So for that reason, The Sims 4 Parenthood is going up into Need It. And next we have The Sims 4 Jungle Adventure, which again introduced us to a new Sims world, being Selvadorada, a South American inspired world. Now, I was really excited for this. I really enjoyed the gameplay for the first time that I played it. You go and explore through the jungles and you find little clues here and there. Selvadorada is an absolutely beautiful world. It really, really is. But the replayability factor with this game pack it just slowly like diminished it for me a little bit. But this doesn't go without saying that the build and buy objects are absolutely great. Again, I still use them a lot in gameplay today. But just for that reason of it being with the replayability factor, I'm going to be putting The Sims 4 Jungle Adventure into good. Now, with the next one, The Sims 4 Strangerville, it brought a different vibe into The Sims 4, a kind of story-based lore vibe, and another great world, Strangerville. It's very American desert inspired, and the gameplay around it, again, the same with Jungle Adventure. The replayability factor of it kind of lets it down a little bit here and there, but I do love how they executed this game pack. I had a lot of fun playing around with it, but again, for the replayability factor, it's making me put The Sims 4 Strangerville into the good pile. Next up is The Sims 4 Realm of Magic, which brought us spellcasters as a new occult into The Sims 4, and also a new world of Glimmerbrook. I really enjoyed, again, the leveling system, the same as The Sims 4 Vampires. I really liked that aspect of it. It kept me playing the game a little bit longer. And I really enjoyed the kind of animations that the spellcasters had. But what I found it a little bit lacking in was just the world. Glimmerbrook and also Caster's Alley, which was supposed to be the kind of like Diagon Alley of The Sims. It was okay. I did enjoy it, and I like having spellcasters in the game, but for me, I'm just going to be putting The Sims 4 Realm of Magic into the good pile. Now, next up, we have The Sims 4 Star Wars Journey to Batuu. This pack did not go down well with the community in the slightest. It really, really didn't. The gameplay for me, it just wasn't the one. It felt like it was a bit of a cash grab because of EA having the rights to the Star Wars games. I didn't vibe with it. Now, I would have put it into the nope pile, but the build and buy objects from this game are absolutely amazing. I love them. I use them all the time. So for that reason, The Sims 4 Journey to Batuu is going into the meh pile. I would have put it up higher, but I refused to just because of how much I really did not like playing the actual gameplay. Now, next up is The Sims 4 Dream Home Decorator. I was probably the most excited for this game pack than out of any of the other game packs. I was really excited for it. I loved the premise of becoming this interior designer and going around to other Sims houses and giving them makeovers. It sounded brilliant, but for me, the gameplay was just lacking. It was buggy, and the build and buy items, as nice as they look, for me personally, I really detest the swatches on them. I think the swatches don't go with anything else in the game, and they just, for me, were not executed very well. So sadly, I'm going to have to put the Sims 4 Dream Home Decorator into the meh pile, which I'm very surprised about, but those are the reasons why I've done that. Now, next up, we have The Sims 4 Wedding Stories, which was a game pack that brought much more in-depth weddings into the game, and also the new world of Tartosa, which was a Mediterranean-inspired world for The Sims 4. Now, this game pack, for me, has never worked. It's broken, it's buggy, nothing works properly. I got annoyed with it on Twitch, trying to, like, the weddings that I were trying to do were just not working, and a lot of the build and buy objects are quite nice, but for me, this pack is going to go into the meh pile just because of how buggy it is, and still is to this day. And last up for the game packs is The Sims 4 Werewolves, which brought, again, a newer cult into The Sims 4, Werewolves. And it also brought the new world of Moonwood Mill too. Now, I had a lot of fun playing with this. I played with this quite often off of recording and stream, and I had a great time. I thought Moonwood Mill was a small world, but it was really attractive, and I liked the feel of it. It was a bit spooky. It was a bit Forks out of Twilight, and I enjoyed that. I really, really did. And I thought they really executed the werewolf animations and just how they looked really well. So for that reason, we are going to be flopping The Sims 4 Werewolves into the Loves It pile. So we're moving on to expansion packs now, which are the biggest packs that The Sims 4 have to offer in regards to content and gameplay. So the first expansion released was The Sims 4 Get to Work, which allowed you to follow your Sims to 3 different careers, those being the detective, scientist, or doctor career. I was really excited for this when this expansion pack came out because it was one of the first expansion. Well, it was the first expansion, but for me, I just found the gameplay a little bit lacking here and there, the repetitive tasks. I just didn't enjoy it in the end. I love a lot of the build and buy items. I use them to death to this day. But for me, the gameplay was just lacking a little bit too much to make this any higher on the list than good. So I'm going to be putting Get to Work into the good pile. Now, the next pack was The Sims 4 Get Together, a pack we were all a little bit confused about, to be honest, when it was announced. But this pack came with, arguably, the best world in The Sims 4, Windenburg. It was a huge European-inspired world with so many different areas, a modern area, an island area, a town centre area, and a countryside area. What an amazing world this was. I love this pack. It came with this kind of group system as well, where you can put your Sims into groups and let them have their own clubs and things. They also have brought in dancing, like group dancing with this pack as well. But for me, the fact that this came with Windenburg, I need this pack in my game. It's not my favorite expansion pack, but I still need it because of how much I love Windenburg and how much I love the build and buy items that came with it. So Get Together is going into the need it pile. So now we have The Sims 4 City Living, which brought the first city inspired world into The Sims 4, San Moschino, and I really enjoyed this expansion. I thought it was great. I loved that we had apartments in the game now where we could like furnish our own apartments and have Sims living on the same lot. I was a little bit annoyed at the fact that we couldn't build our own apartments, but again, I had so much fun with this. I love that it brought kind of cultural festivals into the game as well. And karaoke and penthouses. There was just a lot of things in this pack. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting The Sims 4 City Living into the love it pile. Now we have The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs, which, as you guessed, brings cats and dogs into the game, plus a new world of Brindleton Bay, which is a very kind of American coastline inspired world. I really liked the game. I thought they absolutely nailed it with the cats and dog animations, plus the actual create a pet system that they built, which allowed you to kind of like paint your own pets and create all of these amazing looking animals. I enjoyed it. I really, really did. And I love the world of Brindleton Bay as well. So for that reason, Cats and Dogs is going into the love it pile. Now we have arguably one of my most favorite packs in The Sims 4. The Sims 4 Seasons. It does exactly what it says as well. It brings all of the seasons, autumn, winter, summer, spring, into The Sims 4. And I was a little bit annoyed in the beginning about it not coming with a new world. And then I understood that they probably had to work quite hard to get all of those seasons into all of the worlds that were already out for The Sims 4. But I just love the gameplay that it comes with, the fact that you can create your own holidays, seasonal activities, all of that kind of stuff. And I think it came with a gardening career as well, which I really, really thought was a cool addition to it. And I just love seeing The Sims 4 in all of the different seasons. The rain and the snow and the thunder and the storms and the wind. It just brought so much into the game. And for that reason, The Sims 4 Seasons is going into my need it pile. So we have The Sims 4 Get Famous next. The Sims 4 Gets Famous allows your Sims to climb up the celebrity career ladder, whether that's being an actor, a singer, a writer, any of those fields. You can actually follow your Sim to work as well, being an actor. It was really cool. It came with a new world in Del Sol Valley, which was loosely inspired by Los Angeles. I never play in it. It's just not for me. It's not my vibe. It's not for me. The gameplay, it was kind of interesting. I did like it. The build and buy items were absolutely awful. I did not like a lot of the build and buy items. But saying that, there are some build and buy items that come with it that are useful, like props and stuff. I just thought about the overall styling, the gaudy, over the top kind of like gold and leopard print kind of prints. It's just not for me. It really, really isn't. So I'm a bit confused on where to put this one. I think what I'm going to do is put it into the meh pile. So Get Famous, you just missed the mark for me, I'm afraid. And now we have the Sims 4 Island Living expansion pack, which brought us a new world, a beautiful new world of Sulani, which is a very Polynesian-inspired, beautiful island world. It's stunning, it's gorgeous. I could walk around and look at this world for hours. It also brought us a new occult sim. The Mermaid came into The Sims 4 by use of this pack. And they also really tied in nicely with the kind of local culture of what Sulani had to offer, with like the island spirits and all of that kind of vibe. I liked it, I did. I thought this pack was really nice, and the world just blew me away. So for that reason, I'm going to put Island Living into the good pile. So next up, we have The Sims 4 Discover University, which, as you may have guessed, allows your Sims to now go to university and live out their best university lives. I thought this game was really well executed. I absolutely loved the build and buy objects. The world was okay. It came with a new world, Brychester, which is kind of loosely, it looks to me to be Dutch and also a British inspired kind of looking world. It's hard to kind of differentiate what they were kind of going for, but I really liked the gameplay. I liked the gameplay of university. I really, really did. I liked the fact that they had dormitories where you could live with your like uni mates and you could hang out on those spaces. I just thought it was really cool. And you had your own little like campus sports teams that you could like support, and like, I just thought it was great. I really, really enjoyed The Sims 4 Discover University. So for that, I think what I'm going to be doing is putting The Sims 4 University into my love it pile. Next up, we have The Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle, which was a pack that brought in kind of a sustainable living vibe into The Sims 4, and also a new world of Evergreen Harbour. that with your Sims voting practices and the way that they live their lives affected the world. So the world would progress into a bit more of an eco haven or a kind of smoggy mess, depending on what actions you took and what decisions you made to make the world a better place. The gameplay is interesting though. I did have fun playing with it, like rooting around in the garbage and making stuff out of the stuff that you find and recycling. I loved all of that aspect to it, but I absolutely love a lot of the build and buy items that came with this pack. I really, really do. Now I would put this down. I would have put it up into Loves It. I really, really would, because of the build and buy items. But because of how broken the world and stuff is with it, I'm going to be putting it down into the good, sadly, because I can't live without some of the build and buy items from that pack. But, you know, it's broken and it's a mess. Next up, we have The Sims 4 Snowy Escape, which is a beautiful Japanese-inspired world of Mount Komorebi. I love this pack, especially for the build and buy items. I could not live without the build and buy items that come with this pack. It also introduces us to onsens as well, which were the kind of Japanese bathhouses, skiing, snowboarding. The world is amazing. I really, really love the world. There are a few separate areas that are different, the snowy areas, and that you can go hiking with your Sims. You can go hiking as a family. I just really loved this pack. I really, really did. So for that reason, this is going to be nuts, but I'm going to be putting The Sims 4 Snowy Escape up into my need it pile because I love the build and buy items so much from that pack. I really, really do. So up it goes into my need it pile. Now next up is my favorite expansion for The Sims 4 without a shadow of a doubt. It is The Sims 4 Cottage Living. Henford on Bagley is the world that came with this expansion, and it's inspired by the Cotswolds kind of countryside in England, and I love it. Now I might be a bit biased with this pack because I actually helped with this pack. I built 2 of the houses for this expansion, the farmhouse and also the pub down in the village area as well. But what this pack did was farming into the game a little bit more by use of oversized crops, also cows and chickens, and just the world in general. I just really loved it. It feels like home, and it's just like a big hug, but in The Sims 4. It really is. So that is the reasons why I just love that pack. And the replayability factor with The Sims 4 Cottage Living, it's great. I love it. And it's one of my favorites. And it is my favorite expansion. So for that reason, I'm going to be putting The Sims 4 Cottage Living up into... I'm going to put it right at the beginning. Can I do that? Just because it's very important. There we go. Oh no, we need them together. Virgo. Virgo. We need all the expansions together. So, now the final and newest expansion pack for The Sims 4 is The Sims 4 High School Years, which brought us high school in The Sims 4 and also the new world of Copperdale. Now, I was really excited about this pack. Really excited. I thought, oh, great, we can actually follow the Sims to school and stuff. It'd be really interesting to see them in like science lessons with like chemistry labs and art lessons where you see them painting. And no, not at all. You go to school and you sit down at your desk and your Sim literally writes in the book. The teacher is at the front talking. The timer goes down. It's your lunch. You come back, do that again for another lesson, and then it was boring. It was boring. It was dull. And it was just not for me. It really wasn't for me. The build and buy items, some of them are great, but I just really didn't like the swatches that this pack came with for the build and buy items. I find them very hard to fit in with anything else we've got in the game. So I'm sad to say The Sims 4 High School Years is the only expansion pack that I'm going to be flopping down into the nope pile because I just really didn't enjoy the gameplay with it. I really didn't. And yeah, sadly, that's where it is to stay. That, my loves, is my tier list and me ranking all of the Sims 4 packs together. So I'd love to know your ideas. Obviously, we're all going to have differing opinions, but I would love to know yours down below in the comments. I really would. So there we have it, my loves. My list has been completed. I hope you enjoyed watching this. This was quite fun to create. Never done something like this before. I hope you have the most wonderful weekend. I will be back on Tuesday next week. Next week, there is only going to be 3 videos coming to the channel, and it's all going to be Let's Build the World next week. I have a friend coming to visit me, so I'm going to be spending a bit of time with them. They are here, so I won't have enough time to record next week. And also, this goes for you Twitch people as well, as I said in the Twitch chat. I'm only going to be streaming on Friday next week, but I'm going to be doing a really long stream. So we're going to be aiming to do a 6 to 8 hour stream on the Friday. So I hope you can come and join us. I will keep all the times and stuff I will put out on the community tab and on Twitter, just to keep you guys in the know-how. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. Goodbye.